Hello everyone, and thank you very much for joining us for this webinar. Today we'll speak about Dynamics 365 Business Central. If you are here, it's because you heard about this tool. So we're going together, going a bit further on what is Dynamics Business Central, or you can benefits of it. So I'm Cyril, Courrée, product manager at SherWeb for the Dynamics products. And today we have a special guest, Trevor, that is the partner technical architect at Microsoft Canada. Really happy to have him here. Thank you, Trevor, to join us today. So some housekeeping item before we start. As usual, this webinar is being recorded. We'll send you the link in a couple of days so you can go back on it. Also, there is a box for asking questions inside the tool. So please really send your question. We'll try to answer in the go. If we cannot, we keep some time at the end for a QA. So really don't be shy and send us your question. Also, we share this presentation. So if you go in the tool, you can download the PDF version and PowerPoint version of this slide. So please do it. And now that being said, let's start with the agenda. So we'll see together with Trevor and what is the Dynamics 365 Business Central. So how really your customer can benefit of it, what is the opportunity for you, and why you should care of it. We'll see how SherWeb can assist you, go a bit on pricing, transition of the solution. We'll get a live demo of the Business Central, and as usual, we'll share some resources, giving you some next step, and we keep some time for the QA to be sure that you got the answer on the question that you had. So that being said, I'm going to give you the presenter, Trevor, so we can go on what is Business Central.
Thank you, Cyril. Welcome, everybody. So I wanted to talk a bit about Business Central. If you have customers today that are outgrowing their accounting systems, we think Business Central is a great opportunity for you and your customers. So growing businesses often outgrow their legacy software, their accounting systems that just can't handle increased inventory transactions or integrate with other lines of businesses or give them good reporting, mobility, and cloud. So if you see signs that your system, your customer systems are disconnected and information is siloed, or they're dealing with a lot of duplicate data entry into multiple systems as part of their daily routine, or a lot of their accounting occurs in Excel, not really in the financial system. If they're talking about difficulty getting information out of the system and good reporting, or if they see a lack of secure and manageable workflows within the system, those are signs that your customers are outgrowing their accounting system. Microsoft Dynamics Business Central is designed for growing businesses that have outgrown their accounting systems. It's an all-in-one business management solution that easily and seamlessly connects people and processes together. It's deeply integrated with Office 365 and includes built-in intelligence, so it's easy to make better business decisions. Here's an example of what some customers are saying about Business Central. This is Kyle Jonason from J Systems. And you can see he talks about how they now have a single view of their business. Business Central connects your people and processes with a single unified system. It manages financials, project management, operations, supply chain, sales and service and reporting and analytics. Functions like payroll, CRM systems are just integrated, so your people can share the most current data and respond to customer requests faster with the most accurate information. Dynamics 365 Business Central is actually an evolution of a product that's been in market for a long time, Microsoft Dynamics NAV. which is the most used ERP system in the world for small and mid-sized businesses. There's over 160,000 clients. So although it is a new product, it comes from a strong legacy ERP system with deep functionality across your business. Business Central lets you start with what you need and grow into the application. You can easily, we've designed it to allow you to easily get started, easily import data from other legacy systems, and we've built in assisted setups to help your customers get started and configure the application. We've included in-product tutorials when and where they need them, and it lets you handle your most common business processes from day one, like quotes, orders, invoicing, purchasing, cash management, and reporting. It's built in the cloud, so it's easy to set up and it's easy to manage and scale. I wanted to go back. I know Cyril spoke briefly about the partner opportunity, but I wanted to speak to that as well a little bit. What we've seen in the ERP market is that the growth rate for cloud accounting and cloud ERP is significantly higher than the traditional on-premise products. Just a few years ago, the growth rate was estimated to be around 8%. We've seen it explode, and it's already running between 21 and 24%. As you can see on the chart, ERP and accounting, which is the part of the addressable market that Business Central is designed for, is growing significantly within that space of cloud business applications. When we think of what's top of mind for the different business leaders within a business, typically we see finance is looking for real-time business insights. They complain about their team members having to use a bunch of different systems to accomplish daily tasks, and the finance department often being asked to provide information and reports for the other segments. Sales wants to focus on closing deals, not the technology itself. They want something that's simple and intelligent that helps them focus on their customers' businesses. Marketing is looking to be able to personalize relevant offers within their customers and get insights to quickly change and address new opportunities. And IT is looking for a cost-effective, easy to deploy, and easy to scale solution. What do we think makes Business Central different? First off, it's modern. It's easy and fast to deploy compared to other traditional ERP systems. It offers a consistent and secure experience across all devices and all platforms, Windows, iOS, and Android. It makes it easy to connect with other applications that your customers may be using. It's intelligent. It offers a great unified experience with deep integration with Office 365. So if your customers are already using Office 365, they can work directly within Office 365 and transact within Business Central. It provides business insights through analytics, including built-in intelligence, where we're leveraging artificial intelligence and machine learning throughout the application. And it integrates with other apps in the ecosystem. So it's adaptable. It's part of the Microsoft Cloud. When we look at the functional footprint, this gives you a fair idea of the different parts of the businesses. It's not comprehensive, but it talks to the key features and functions that we address within each of the different segments of the business across finance, sales, project management, supply chain operations, and reporting. And finally, Business Central is part of the Microsoft Cloud for Business. That means that you can harness the power of the one Microsoft Cloud. It has deep integration with Dynamics 365 and Office 365. So if you're using other applications, within the Dynamics 365 suite. It integrates with those applications and works seamlessly with them. We surface familiar tools like Excel and Word in the context of business processes within the application, significantly increasing productivity and decreasing the need for users to switch between applications to complete tasks. It offers embedded experiences within Power BI and in Cortana Intelligence that help customers leverage the power of business intelligence and predictive insight, prescriptive advice, and actionable next steps. We have also introduced Microsoft App Source, so businesses and users can easily find and evaluate line of business applications for Business Central across Office, Dynamics 365, Cortana Intelligence, and the Azure platform. This makes the application particularly scalable. So as I mentioned earlier, businesses can start small and grow into the application over time.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Trevor. Sorry, changing a bit the way we're doing the things, fixing those first issue. First question that we got, Trevor, maybe you want to comment on that. So you kind of show a slide with a kind of a roadmap. So let me go back on the slide. Let me see when you can see it. So the one about the fall 2018, I'm getting a question about if they're going to be a kind of hybrid solution. Means, are you going to be able to have a Dynamics 365 Business Central, so software as a service, and going to have a hosted version, and those platforms working together? Is it something that might happen in the future?
So when we move into the fall, essentially Dynamics NAV's next update gets rebranded Business Central. The two products already share the same code base across the application. So for a typical NAV customer, it's just their next upgrade. Could customers at that point, or even today, have a cloud solution for some of their legal entities, the Business Central, and have other legal entities or companies working in Dynamics NAV, soon to be Business Central on-premise? The answer is yes.
Okay, good. Classic question. How do you really compare Business Central with QuickBooks or this kind of other accounting ERP system?
So I think the most important differences are primarily around the modern application and the ability to tie in and integrate with the rest of the Microsoft Cloud for Business. So it's a very modern application. We have apps that'll run on all of your devices. We leverage our investment in Cortana Intelligence, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and we're embedding that into our application, which helps you make better decisions. And it works seamlessly with the tools that your customers are familiar with: Excel, Word, Outlook, giving you the ability to do your work where you're working. So for instance, if you get an email asking for a quotation, you can actually build that quote directly in Outlook without leaving the application. So we've seen studies that have said a typical Office user loses 40% of their time switching between applications. We've really broken down those barriers and eliminated that productivity drain.
Could we say also that some of those tools, they are more in accounting, when Business Central is more an ERP/CRM, so way more powerful and not just focusing on the basic finance? Can we say that also?
Yes, definitely. We see a lot of customers coming in from QuickBooks when they're starting to outgrow their accounting application. They need better management of their inventory. Maybe they need to do some service. Maybe they need to do some manufacturing. Maybe they need to manage projects or professional services. Our application being built on the foundation of Dynamic NAVs that's been in market a very long time and has a very complete feature set, can allow them to manage all of that within a single application. In some cases, we see customers with QuickBooks having separate applications to manage different parts of their business, so they're siloed.
We have here in pre-sales, one of our pre-sales like to say that it's QuickBook on steroid. I like the approach of making it sound simple, a bit stupid, you know, but I really like these things, you know, to image that it's way more than just an accounting. So we got more questions, Trevor, answering those two. I think we can go on those one. Someone is asking, Brennan is asking, how much of the manufacturing module of NAV has been moved into Business Central?
So I'm happy to say the answer is all of the feature set of Dynamics NAV is available in Business Central, period. So if it exists in NAV, it now exists in Business Central.
Okay. Following on that, where can I find detail on deploying the manufacturing module? Nothing in Dynamics Learning Portal at this time. You want to comment on that?
So the learning in the Dynamics Learning Portal for the manufacturing module for Dynamics NAV applies. The user interface has changed, but all of that learning would still be relevant.
Okay. Question from, so let's say I'm going to combine a couple of questions. So I have people coming from GP, some people coming from, no, let's keep the GP and GP. So someone is asking, is this something that company can move from Dynamics GP to this product?
Absolutely. We have several customers that have already made that transition. You need to evaluate carefully what they're doing in GP and what they're using. You know, if they're a fairly standard GP deployment, the answer is it should be fairly quick and easy. Microsoft has built an app in AppSource to help you migrate your data from GP. So a specific application to facilitate that data migration. There is also some transition pricing available for GPSL and NAV on-premise customers to help them make that transition to the cloud.
Okay. Still question about, and I know that it's pretty tough, you know, from a lot of partners. So someone is asking how to really differentiate MSAX and maybe even finance and operation enterprise compared to Business Central. I know it's not an easy question, but is this something that you can provide a kind of an answer?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to preface this by saying there are gray areas here, but you know, 95+% of SMBs, small and mid-sized businesses, belong on Business Central rather than Finance and Operations Enterprise Edition. That's the first distinguishing factor. From a functional point of view, one of the key differences is the Finance and Operations Enterprise, Finance and Operations is a tier one, what we call a tier one ERP, which typically means that you can work with centralized services across the business. So what do I mean by that? You may have somebody in payables that is doing the payables for all of the companies in a multi-company scenario. So they may want to cut a check to a vendor that includes payments from 3 or 4, paying for invoices for 3 or 4 different companies in the same screen. Or you may have a global supply chain manager that wants visibility in the same screen across the supply chain across all those companies. Business Central has consolidation, it has intercompany transactions, but you don't have that shared view within one company of what's happening across all the companies, and you don't have the ability to manage those shared services the same way. So that's one of the other key differences. Okay, those are typically the main ones I focus on. The last is, you know, generally if you ask your customer, do you have an IT department? And do you have business analysts in that department? If the answer is no, they'll have a very hard time managing a tier one ERP.
So really Business Central, and think about it as the Microsoft Dynamics 365 infrastructure. So when I mean that, think about Microsoft as one solution, okay? And all those different elements that work together to provide this infrastructure that cover all the needs of your customer. So really Business Central or Dynamics 365 being the central point for all those different elements. And that being said, the opportunity for you here, it's really first respond to this customer demand of cloud. And when we look at the different study, by the end of 2018, more than 70% of CRM and ERP solution will be hosted. And the reason is that it's really because customer want this flexibility, and really customer want to go through this path. So really offering cloud is responding to what your customer is asking. Propose a complete solution. And here, like we just say, Microsoft is probably the only provider providing this full story across all the different force and system that company need. And this is great advantage compared to our competitors, but it's also a great advantage for our customer and get all those things integrated. And this is giving really a great opportunity for cross-sell. What I mean, for example, you are in a system, you're getting all this data. We get all super excited of what you can do and what you can know. But now being under the same solution, you can offer some advanced BI, and the solution will be cross-selling Power BI to get those reporting and all those data working together. This is just only one of the examples. You could leverage Microsoft Workflow, you could leverage Power App, Office 365 to bring the productivity inside Dynamics. So bundle your service. Here what we are saying, now you are working in a software as a service. There is a recurrent fee for your customer. It's not anymore this big one-shot bill they were getting on the table for the next 3 years. Now they go in the recurrence, and it's a different way for a customer. And one way to make this recurrence acceptable is to bring it and bundle it really with your managed services. So your customer understand that he's paying monthly for a service and not just a recurrent license. Also, it's a very good way to differentiate yourself from other competitors that might come with a very classic approach. Speaking about competitors, like we say, a great solution. It's a very good point when you have to fight against competitor solution. But there is also the competition coming from the other Microsoft partner. So Dynamics, being a software as a service, is very accessible, and anyone can purchase it and trying to reach his customer. And now we get a bunch of MSP. Those guys, they are very versatile. They know how to grab an opportunity when they see it. They move way faster than the standard Dynamics partner. And they're really good at what they are doing, but they are more infrastructure partner. So compared to you, you know how to speak about business process. You know how to speak directly to an owner and speak about all those things. So you have a lot of, I would say, advantage compared to them, but they go very fast and they're probably more efficient than you to grab new customer. So the solution is not go against each other. You know, the market is there. There is a bunch of customers that no one offer them any solution. Peer-to-peer, really work with those guys. Figure out something. They can reach customer. You have the expertise. You can really work together. And last point on this one, start earning monthly recurrent revenue. So a bunch of partners, they didn't care about license. That's more on the CRM side. They didn't see the why doing that. So by starting to do it, it's way more money that you're going to bring. But if you look more at the ERP partner, if you don't start to earn those monthly recurrent revenue, you're going to have a cash flow issue, because you used to get those 1, 2, 3 years licensing package. And really this money that was coming was really covering for pre-sales, marketing, and sales commission, and so on. So you need to build this flow step by step with this recurring revenue. Good, very good for you. It's not anymore only about the Dynamics revenue, but it's about Office 365, any Azure consumption that you might bring, app source, and all those new revenue that you can bring together. Okay. I'm keeping some question for the end, you know. I will just cover quickly, because I know that's something important and you need to be equipped. I will cover a bit of licensing. Then after we can go on a demo, so really for you to have a feel of what is the solution. And after we can really, we're going to spend more time on questions that you might have. So go quickly on, I'm going quickly on the licensing. It's pretty easy. Yeah, Microsoft can do an easy licensing. This is possible. They made it here. So you have the pricing on the screen. So team member, what a team member can do is really the light task and really having access to the data. So read and approve, run all reports, and employee self-service. The big number is the price in US, the small number in the price in Canadian. Then you have essential. If you want to compare to what we used to have a month ago, compare finance and operation, business edition, financial, whatever name they came with. This is really the essential. So I'm not going to read, but you get most of the functionality over there. And then after you got premium, and really premium, what it's doing, it's bringing the manufacturing and service management module inside the solution. And one thing that is important, because the question is coming all the time, you are not going to be able to mix essential and premium. You can move from an essential to a premium. You're just going to change your SKU and the capability will be here. But you cannot have some user in essential in premium. But of course, you can have user on the team member. Something interesting for you, Business Central is only available under the cloud solution provider. So under the CSP, the channel that you are with us or with some provider, that's interesting. And again, it's going to help you to don't compete with others. Something important, very, very important, transition SKU. So Microsoft coming with a bunch of SKUs. The idea is to get customers easily moving with a better price, of course, with a discounted price. So customers that they were on the Dynamics price list for the following, so AX, GP, NAV, SL, POS, RMS, C5, and Excel. Those guys and the Dynamics Business Edition, of course, they're going to get a discounted SKU. So it's really interesting for customers that were actually on financials. The discount is close to 40%. So the price raise, it's a couple of dollars if you think about it. For existing customers that you were on prem, it's a very interesting time to move those customers. And the one that will use the transition SKU, they will keep until June 2020, something like that. So they will going to be to have a very good price secure. I don't know, Trevor, do you want to add something on pricing, or we can jump in the demo?
I think we're good to move to the demo, sir.
Okay, it's great. I'm going to make you a presenter.
So today I'm going to walk you through Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. So first off, it's just an extension and another component of Office 365. So I'm going to log in with my Office 365 user. And that single sign-on is used for all the cloud applications from Microsoft for you. So we can see here that inside Office 365, I can see all the apps that I have signed up for in the Microsoft Cloud, including Dynamics 365. So if I click over there, I now see all the various apps within Dynamics 365 that I'm using. So I see that I've subscribed to Business Central and some other applications across the product. I'm going to head into Business Central. And the first thing you'll notice when you log in is that you come to a page which we call the Role Center. Depending on your role within an organization, there are several role centers you could be assigned by your administrator. In this particular case, I'm looking at a fairly generalized role called the Business Manager. This is a role that sort of covers a good portion of the application for a typical small business. So I can see that I can deal with my finance, I can do my budgets, manage my fixed asset, do general journal entries, see my chart of account. I can also manage my cash flow and my cash across my bank accounts with my cash receipt journals and my payment journals. I have access to sales, so I can see my customers, do quotes, do invoicing, see my sales orders, purchasing, so I can manage my purchases with my vendors, do purchase quotes, purchase orders, manage my invoicing. I've got approvals. The system has built-in workflow, so I may have things I need to approve or continue within a workflow process. And then finally, under self-service, I can look at my user tasks or enter record time against projects. In the center of the screen, we have notifications. So the application is giving you automatically some notifications based on what you might be interested within your role. I can quickly take actions. So I can create sales quotes, purchase orders, some of the typical functions of the particular role. I've got a set of KPIs that are surfaced to me. So I can see, in this case, my sales this month, my overdue sales invoices, and I can always drill down and get more information on that. So here I see a list of my overdue sales invoices. Anything that's a problem is generally sitting in red, and I can always navigate further down into any of the documents that I'm viewing within those lists. And I can actually see here all of the journal entries that have been done in relation to this particular transaction, including navigating right down to the particular invoice that is overdue. So we've got a simple, easy way to drill down for more information directly from our role page on any of those particular KPIs. And here we see the original invoice and the details. You'll notice that some of the one of the KPIs is in green, so we can set our thresholds for what we consider okay, good, or starting to be trouble. So I can see here that I owe quite a bit of money to my vendors, and some of it is late. We've also got directly on the role page some relevant reports. I can see here my top 5 customers by sales value, and I can always drill in and get more information there as well. And we have embedded Power BI reports. So I can see here that I have a Power BI report that's surfaced directly within the application. I can navigate through the various reports that I have set up against my user. So for instance, I am now seeing my top 5 items sold by quantity. I can always expand that report if I need a bit deeper view. And when I expand that report, I can see here I actually have access to several reports related to customers, like the item sales dashboard. And I can always filter those. So if I'm interested in a particular item and I want to understand the quantity sold for that item, I can drill in and I can see that it makes up a good portion of the sales to this particular customer as an example. And I can actually change the date range that I want to look at for those items and see the data that way. So we give you great insight directly from those role pages. I also have the ability, any report in the system, to automatically schedule it to be sent out to individuals. So for instance, I may have a meeting every Friday on customer sales, and I may want to automatically send this report out an hour or two before the meeting. I can open it directly from here and see the details. And that works much like your email inbox. And when they're in bold, they haven't been read. When they appear like this, they've already been read. We work directly with the other applications in Office 365. So a good example is I have a series of Excel reports. So for instance, I can send my trial balance out to Excel. That's actually a live data link, so I can refresh that data at any time. And once I have the trial balance in Excel, I can actually build reports off of that directly inside of this Excel. So I could create a second sheet, build some reports across it, and we can see that we've got actually a live link here into just going to open that up a second time. I had 2 users logged in. So it does apply the security across the application. So I need to log in if I'm not already logged in, and it will automatically remove from the report any information that I don't necessarily have access to within the accounting system. I can always refresh that data here at any time, so I could build a series of reports based on this information and simply refresh each month if I wanted to update it. Even more than that, when I take a look at, for instance, something like items, I have here my item list. Again, I can see that I'm getting some information from Power BI on those particular items, but I also have the ability to send that to Excel and edit it directly there. So things like customers, items, and vendors, we make it easy to keep that information up to date, to modify that information, to update it in a mass way based on using Excel. And then finally, what I showed you there was the business manager role, but there are a set of other roles across the application. So there's a specific role for the accountant, for the sales and relationship manager, for the sales order processor, for the project manager, for the production planner. We'll just quickly take a look at another role. In this case, I'm heading into the accountant role. And we can see that the layout's fairly similar, and the functionality and the navigation is the same, but the information presented is significantly different for the accountant in the business. So my actions have changed. I'm getting different messaging up top. I've got different KPIs across the application. And I have potentially different Power BI reports. Basic reports on the system are different. So here I've got my financial performance, and I've got an example here of a cash flow report. So I can see where my cash flow is heading in the future based on what's in the system today. So one of the things we've strived hard to do within Business Central is make it easier to process your transactions and do and gain insights. So as an example here, I can see I have an unprocessed payment. Let's take a look at that. This is actually a vendor who sent an email. Oops. Sorry. I've got some incoming documents here. So this is actually an email address. A vendor sent me an email with a PDF invoice. So I've got this invoice that came into my incoming documents automatically. We can automate all the steps I'm about to show you, and there's built-in workflow for that, but I just wanted to walk through it. So the first thing that happens when we get a PDF invoice is it gets sent out to an OCR service. It's going to actually scan that document for us, parse out the data, and make that data meaningful. So in a minute or two here, I can receive the information back. So I can see I've received the information. This is what it's actually done in the background, is it's pulled all this information directly from the PDF invoice. And then I can actually go ahead and create my invoice. Again, this can be done. All these steps can be automated. And now I have a completed purchase invoice that's been keyed into the system with all the information without the need to actually key any of that in. So it's an example of one of the ways that we try and increase users' productivity in the application and make it simple to use. Another area where we think we've really made it easy to use is within Outlook. So I've got a good example here. You know, most people typically start their day in Outlook. I see here that I've got an email saying, you know, I need some new office furniture, and can you quote me these items? So I can click on Insight within Outlook, and it'll pull up some information directly from Business Central. So if it recognizes that email address and it's attached to a customer, it's going to pull up some information for me on what's happening with that customer in my accounting system. If it doesn't recognize the customer, it'll simply ask you if you want to add it as a contact and attach it to a particular customer in the system. The same is true for vendors, by the way. If it recognizes a vendor, it'll actually do the same and pull up some information on that vendor. So I get a lot of insight directly in Outlook on what's happening with this particular customer. So I can see they owe us some money and some of it's past due. I can always drill down and get more information. So I can see this invoice is the one that's late because it's in red. I can drill further and I can actually see the details of the invoice directly here. I could even send out a reminder directly from here to the customer. I've also got some information here. In this particular case, I'm using another app from Dynamics 365, the Dynamics 365 Sales. And I can see here that there's actually an opportunity, a couple of opportunities open in our CRM system. I can drill into those and take a look. And I can actually from here drill directly into the CRM system and take a look at those opportunities. But finally, in this particular case, what the customer is actually asking for is they want a quote. So I want to go ahead and make that quote, and I can do that directly from here. I'll say I want to create a new sales quote. And one of the first things it does is it's actually using AI and to read the body of that particular email. So the first two items, it knew with certainty what items those are within my system, and it's picked that up for me and the quantities. The last one, the person typed blue chair. When I go to resolve item, I see here that there's actually two items that have that are blue and are chairs. So it's asking me to actually pick the correct item. I can go ahead and do that. And I now have my quotation complete with all the pricing, the items, and the quantities. And I didn't actually have to key in anything. Now I can go ahead and send that to them as an email. So he wanted a quote. I was able to quickly generate that quote directly in Outlook. It's now automatically filled in some information for that customer. These are simply Word templates. So as a user, it's extremely easy to modify these. You just do it inside Word if you want to change what's included in the body of the email or in the actual quote, which I can open up and take a look at. Again, this is just a Word template. So I can go ahead and send that. I'm just going to tell that to send right away. And I'm going to head into my customer's email. So there I can see the customer got the email. So here's the email with the quote. I can look at those details, and I'm going to go ahead and reply and say, you know, great, please proceed with the order, and send that out. What will happen over here when we get that there we go. So the customer's told me to go ahead and proceed with the order. It actually recognizes this anywhere in the body of that email, and it knows which document it's related to. So I can simply click into it. And I can see I'm now opening up the system and looking at that quote directly. I've got all the details of the quote. If they had asked maybe for an extra chair, I can change the quantities, make any changes I need to. And then I can go ahead and make it an order directly from here. You'll notice that I've got a notification here. So we have smart notifications throughout the application. Things like maybe they're over their credit limit, or maybe you've got an inventory shortage. The system will surface those smart notifications throughout the applications, and we can actually create our own rules for some of those smart notifications. I can go down and see the details. So I see here, you know, that I've only got one available and I'm going to have a problem on inventory. And I could even drill in here if I had multiple warehouses and take a look at how much I have in my different warehouses. So I'll go ahead and close that. Now that I've created that order, I can again go out and quickly email confirmation to that particular customer. And here's the details again. So we make it very easy to work within the application where a typical customer does their work. And when you think about the finance department, having to issue credits and things like that, you can do that directly from Outlook as well. We also have, besides the web client you've been looking at, we also have made it easy for customers to use the application on their mobile devices. So you can find this application on your Android, on your iOS, in your Windows. You can search the relevant stores for Dynamics 365 Business Central, and you'll find the application. I'm on a Surface today, so right now this looks exactly like the web client essentially. But if I go ahead and I change into tablet mode on my Surface, it's going to recognize that I'm now on a mobile touch device, and it's going to change the GUI interface to be optimized for touch. But all of the functionality that we had previously seen is available on the app. So you can actually run your whole business from an app or from a mobile phone. So we have the same KPIs, we've got the same reporting, we've even got the Power BI report surfaced here. We can access the different areas of the application, and we have access to the buttons and the action items we're used to here on the top. So it's a very modern experience. It's designed for the cloud, and it's designed for mobility. Now, when we think of intelligence, we've embedded a great deal of intelligence directly into the application. So a couple quick examples. When we look at something like our items, I can see, some information as we saw earlier in Power BI in terms of demand for a particular item. I'm going to search for one particular item here. So my 1906, I can see here, the total quantity sold over the period, the total quantity purchased. I can see the variability across that. But further down here, I've actually got a forecast. And that forecast is generated by Cortana Analytics. So essentially using machine learning to take a look at the history of the sales across the periods for a particular item and helping us forecast our requirements. But more than just providing the insight, we want to make it easy to action that. So I have an option here to create a purchase order. So I'm going to go ahead and create a purchase order because I can see that shortly I'm going to start to have some trouble and I'm going to run out of that particular item. So it's purchasing a quantity to cover the next 60 days because that's what I've told it to do in this particular case when I set it up. And then I also have another one of the smart notifications. So it says, you're going to run out of stock on items that this vendor usually supplies. So not only is it helping me decide what I need to purchase, create quickly and easily a purchase order for that particular item, but it's telling me if you're going to send a purchase order out, you might as well look at what else you might need from that vendor. And I have an option here to add it to the document. And we can see here that it's filled out another set of items that based on the forecast, based on the demand, it's predicting that we will need to purchase shortly. Other examples might include, I'm going to search here. So I have a search box within the application. I can really search for anything I'm looking for within the application. So for example, I could say I'm interested in inventory. And what I'm going to see here is anywhere in the application that relates to inventory. And these different icons represent different things. So there's a whole series of reports here. There's some setup. There's some transaction screens. I can filter that a little better here if I want to look across it this particular way. But what I want to look at the moment is contacts. So I'm actually going to go ahead and create a new contact here. I'll create myself in the system. And I have a picture I grabbed from LinkedIn of this particular contact. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that picture. And here again is another example of using intelligence. It's actually going to scan that picture Well, it's not going to do that at the moment, unfortunately. So I'm actually going to, I was going to head over here later, but I'm going to head over to assisted setup. And this is an area that makes it easy for customers to get started. When you first create, right now we're looking at the demo area of the application, the demo company that comes with the application. But once you've tried it, you decide you're interested in using it, you can create a new company. And when you do that, it's going to take you through a wizard, much like some of these wizards I'm going to talk to here. And it'll create that company, put in a chart of account, do the default setup, so you're ready to get started and work easily. Some of the examples include setting up cash flow forecasting, creating approvals, setting up that business inbox in Outlook, how we did those transactions in Outlook. And then we can also set up things like workflows. So I'm just going to quickly click on this. I want to set up an item, a workflow on an item. So here I can select a user that's going to approve that. And then I'm going to say here that the workflow starts automatically when somebody changes a specific field. I can go in here and I can say, I can look at all the fields in the item. So maybe we have a rule from marketing that if the description is changed on a product, they want to approve it. Maybe from sales, if somebody tries to change the price, they want an approval on that. So in this case, we're going to use the price, and we can see here the text that's going to go out to the user when they change that particular price. And that's it. I'm finished. Now, when a user tries to change a price, the price won't actually change. It'll send on the role page of the person who's the designated approval a notification that they've got some workflows that they need to approve. So here it would show up as a request to approve. They can approve or reject that change, and then the change is made within the system. So we make it fairly easy to create and manage the different workflows across the application. We also make it easy to start. So when you actually first log in, the first time you log in, a user will see this screen. So the first user from a company that signs up will see this screen. So there's some videos, introductions. There's a set of get started resources, and you can also explore those different roles I talked about. So when I go into the get started resources, it's going to quickly walk me through a video that's going to help me understand the general navigation and use of the system and how to create a company. We've also got links to a set of product videos. So under Get Starting, there's an introduction, there's additional resources, there's stuff for setting up your taxes, there's different tools across. And we've got guided tours where they can actually ask the application to walk them through the system. We've also got the ability to personalize the application. So you may want to make some simple changes. You may want to move some fields around. You may want to remove some fields or add some fields. So I can always start up personalization. And here I can do things like move sections on my role page, hide things, move things around. As I navigate into the system a bit more, let's take a look at something like my items. Here I could decide that I want to change the order of fields. So I can simply click here. I could move a particular field. I can also change the freeze pane. So maybe I want a freeze pane, much like you're used to in Excel, to be here. so that as I scroll right to left, I always keep the number and the description. Or I could actually take some fields that may not already be in that particular view, and I can go ahead and simply drag and drop and add them to the screen. And when I'm done, I simply hit done. Now this is actually an individual personalization for me as a user. I can also, using the sandbox, customize the application. And the main difference being there is that I'm creating a customization that I will then deploy to the live environment. And when I do a customization, I deploy it to the live environment, those changes that I make will apply to all users within the organization. So when I'm in the sandbox, I have an extra option here called Designer. And it's exactly the same set of functionality. The difference is I'm creating a package that I can then deploy to the live environment that affects all users. And there are really no limitations to what you can customize inside the application. These simple changes you can do with the designer here just graphically, but you can also use VS Code and customize anything you want within the application. So I think it's really the first cloud-based application that allows you to do any customizations that you want against the application. You obviously have to have the knowledge to do that, and your partners can help you there as well. When I stop here, I've completed that particular change. And then finally, as your usage grows within the system over time, you may be interested to see if there's any apps that have been built that might be useful to you. So we have something here called App Source at Microsoft. You can go into App Source, look at Dynamics 365 and Business Central, and see a whole series of applications that easily in a couple of clicks can be deployed to your Business Central instance. So for example, if you're looking for payroll, there's a great Canadian payroll system. You can hit Get It Now. It'll deploy it into your solution. Some of these are free trials, some of these are free, but typically most of them let you at least try it out before you decide to purchase. Somebody had asked earlier about data migration. Here's an example. There's one for QuickBooks. So if customers are using QuickBooks, we make it easy for them to move across. There's a whole set of different applications here. If you're in the US, the taxes in the US are extremely complicated. There's a great application that keeps the taxes up to date across all the different jurisdictions. You've got credit card processing. You've got applications that help you with your shipping, your payments, so WorldPay payments for Microsoft. You can connect to that. We talked about the GP data migration. There's tools in here to work with Canada Post. If you're using Canada Post as your shipping solution, there's an app that allows you to connect automatically across that. So that was just a quick overview of Business Central. Thanks for your time, and I think Cyril will walk you through some information on the product.
From what I can see here, we have some new partners. I'm just covering a bit on this one. Anyway, it's going to be a good refresher for our actual partner. So really, how we can help you here at SherWeb. Just a bit of history. So SherWeb on business for 20 years. Those guys used to be very specialist on hosting, okay? So they used to host different solution. Then after became very successful by hosting Exchange and starting to make those software as a service when the cloud was still an idea but wasn't really there. We became very successful on Office 365 because the way we support customer and the way we scale and so on. And from here, our portfolio start to grow and grow. And now we can we assist partner and on the entire Microsoft ecosystem. Office 365, Dynamics, Azure, we got different offer depending of the product. But we also grow around other things that Microsoft doesn't have yet. So some security, some backup, cloud PBX, and so on. So really what we try to achieve is not being a distributor with 20,000 SKU and offer. Is really being your one-stop shop. You come with an expertise, in this case might be Dynamics, and coming with us, we understand this now, we have the same language, we understand your challenge, but also we give you an opportunity to add those other services as Azure, Office, and so on. So looking more at dynamics part of this offer. In terms of turnkey, so we have those pre-packaged service. They're really for small business. We don't try to compete. We really want to peer with you. So really come with those package, a very simple and clear scope, and a very affordable price tag, really trying to reach those customers that they are slowly moving, or maybe that they are too small, you know, to get on a full custom. So we come with an onboarding for the sales app of Dynamics, an onboarding for the Business Central, and same for support. Some those advanced support, they are here really for those type of customer, getting a single point of contact when they need to go on customization and these kind of things. In the enable part and the selling mode, it's really about how to help you to go to market. So how to provide you a campaign in a box, how to provide you information that you might look for it, all those licensing questions and tricky questions. We want to be your point of contact and really help you. In terms of enablement, this is really, you are an MSP, you see the opportunity, come to speak with us, and we're going to quickly ramp you up in the technology. If you need some more expertise, we'll be really glad to connect you with one of our Dynamics expert partner, because it's really part of our philosophy. You cannot go on your own in this kind of market, and we want to make connection between partners of our network. It's really, really important for us, and it's something that we make happen. You know. In terms of enablement, what's going to be different compared to another provider? You're going to get a dedicated account manager, so really someone that become your point of contact in SherWeb. Through him, you can access our pre-sales team, you can access the product team, and you can raise any question that you have, and that's blocking here, because we really want you to help to go. So we get marketing, technical enablement, and so on. One-to-one free partner training session. What it means, you need to ramp up, let us know, and we're going to figure out together what you are missing in the tech and how we can help you. And we do a big effort on how to guide you through this webinar. Sometimes the technique is here, but really how to help you, how to guide you, and how to give those collaterals and so on that you need. So just to give you an example, the partner toolbox, the Dynamics one is still growing, even if the product is there. A lot of messaging are changing, so the Dynamics part is still growing, but really trying to understand the product, position it, how to get lead, and how to onboard your customer. Just to give you an example of enablement, the masterclass, the idea here, you are an MSP, you see the opportunity, you want to hear more about it. So we came with this portal, you get short video that explain to you what is the opportunity, what are the business needs and concern of our customers, and so on and so on. So really this part was more the pre-sales part, but when we speak about how we can help you, so CSP is really a way to buy the license, and where we really differentiate ourselves, it's with our provisioning and billing portal. So we call it Cumulus. It's a web-based portal, 100% white label, and from there you can create your customer, assign the license, and instantly provision those licenses. So in a click, your customer will have Dynamics, Office 365, and so on, and from there you can start build the solution. So let's go back on the demo. I can see that Trevor is here again. Trevor, we can see your screen now. We just need to hear your voice. Hey, Trevor.
There we go. Now I'm unmuted. Thank you.
We are on business. Let's do it. Thank you, Trevor.
Excellent.
That's great. Thank you very much, Trevor. I think it's a very good overview. Just a couple of slides I want to show you really quickly. So here, some resources here trying really to make your life easier. So one of your next step, and I think, is really trying to review those one. A lot of good content. Any question, send it to our team. We'll be really happy to help you of how to figure out if you want to push these things. In terms of QA, so we answer most of the questions through the QA portal. If you still have questions, really feel free to contact us. And we want to be together in this journey to push Business Central. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.